Yo, what's going on people? It's your boy Huncho back at you again with another video. And so it seems as if the murder trial of Aya Hachem has been underway this past week or so, and if you've been up to date with the channel since around this time last year, then you'll know this exact situation. But to be fair, when this news hit, it was quite a big story anyway, so a lot of you guys might be familiar with this situation. If you don't and you do want to see the original coverage of this situation, feel free to check out the previous videos. I will leave them linked down in the description below, but today we'll be going over the timeline of events in detail, so everything that's on there will more than likely get covered today, but again, it is there if you want to view it. So again, we will be breaking down the timeline of events in this video, and I just want to say, because it is an ongoing court case, that anything I do say is all just alleged. So for anyone wondering, on the 17th of May 2020, at around 3 PM, a broad daylight drive-by shooting took place in Blackburn, where an innocent girl had been hit in the crossfire, which resulted in her murder. In court over this past week or so, it's been alleged that the shooting came as the result of two rival businesses being in a long-running feud. These businesses would be RI Tyres, owned by Feroz Suleman, and Quick Shine Tyres, owned by Pasha Khan. A bit of background into the feud: it's believed that the origins of it started when Quick Shine, which was previously just a car wash, had started to sell tyres, which of course made them direct competition to RI Tyres. In December of 2019, the petty feud was said to have got even worse, and this continued to fester until the fateful day in May of 2020, where unfortunately Aya would go on to be gunned down. It's also believed that the police had tried to act as peacemakers between the warring garages, but this had failed, and even just weeks leading up to the shooting, Pasha Khan, owner of Quick Shine Tyres, reported to police that rival Feroz threatened to burn his premises down and kill him. As it stands right now, 8 people are currently on trial for their alleged roles in this murder, and that would be Feroz Suleman, Zamir Raja, Anthony Ennis, Judy Chapman, Abakir Satya, Uthman Satya, Ayaz Hussain, and Kashif Mansour. Talking of their individual roles in this whole situation, it's believed that Feroz Suleman organised the shooting, whilst Ayaz Hussain is said to have been the link or middleman between Feroz and the alleged hitman Zamir Raja. Abakir Satya was allegedly said to have sourced the car which was used in the shooting and disposing of it after the shooting, whilst Kashif Mansour was allegedly responsible for starting the car and ensuring that it was running. The alleged driver of the car at the time of the shooting, the prosecution say, is Anthony Ennis, whilst Judy Chapman was said to have been the driver who, along with Uthman Satya, Judy's boyfriend, and Abakir's brother, were involved in transporting the shooter and Anthony to and from the car which was used in the shooting, and of course that is the car that Anthony would go on to be the driver in. Now that we have an understanding of which roles they allegedly played in the shooting, let's see what the prosecution has to say about the alleged timeline of events leading up to the shooting and what went down on that fateful day. The day before the shooting, on the 16th of May 2020, the alleged shooter and driver of the vehicle, Zamir and Anthony, had travelled together from Manchester to Liverpool. Then both Ayaz Hussain and Feroz Suleman, owner of RI Tyres, would pick both men up to give them a quote guided tour of Blackburn and to hand over a car that belonged to someone else to act out on this hit. On the same day, all would even go on a dry run of the shooting, and here they go to a car park where that car is and then go to the site of where the murder would eventually take place. The route of the dry run, the prosecution say, was exactly the same as the one which would take place the following day, where unfortunately Aya would go on to be murdered. At around 3 PM that following day, it was time to go, and Aya Hachem had been hit by a bullet as she walked up Duckworth Street and right onto King Street. You see, what had happened was she had actually allowed 2 14-year-old boys on push bikes to go past her, but her good deed would unfortunately go on to see her murdered in a broad daylight drive-by shooting. The prosecution say that if she didn't allow them to pass, she would have never been killed because she wouldn't have been in the wrong place at the wrong time. Talking of the shooting itself though, and at around 3 p.m, the gunman and the driver come out from a side road whilst Aya walks immediately outside the front of Quickshine. And at 31 seconds past 3 p.m, a shot is fired and actually hits Quickshine Tyres, which in turn shatters the glass window. A second shot is then fired by the gunman, but instead of hitting the intended target, the bullet unfortunately hits Aya. What should be noted is that both Feroz Suleman and Kashif Mansour had actually stepped out of the garage around the time of the shooting, and when it was over they simply just walked back in like nothing had happened. The prosecution would go on to say they knew exactly what was going on and they wanted a front row view of it. Pashar Khan, the intended target on the other hand, immediately jumps over the railings to help Aya, which is a complete contrast to the men who had allegedly planned the hit. It was then Pashar dials up 999, and when asked by the call operator if he thought the gunman was shooting at him, he replied, yeah. At around 3:58 p.m, less than an hour after the shooting, police would go on to find the car that was used in this whole situation. Around this time, the police are at RI Tyres looking over CCTV footage with Aya Hachem and Feroz Suleman. It was then the police got a call over the radio that the car had been located, and this was actually overheard by the people in the tyre garage. When police searched the car, they found a live 9mm bullet on the rear passenger seat. It was actually made by a different manufacturer than the bullet which hit Aya, but it was similar in style to the bullet which shot through the window of Quickshine Tyres. It would be then at around 5 p.m, after arriving back at Judy Chapman's house in Great Harwood, Uthman Satya made a series of calls and texts to a solicitor in Halifax. The prosecution would go on to say that Uthman was in a bit of a flop with one text saying "ring me urgent." Then 6 hours after the murder, Judy Chapman's phone was used to make a number of Google searches which included ANPR cameras Blackburn Road Bolton, ANPR camera locations, and Lancashire Constabulary ANPR. When alleged gunman Zamir Raja would go on to be arrested by police, he would go on to tell them that he travelled to Bolton but was there to deal drugs. What was put to the court though was CCTV evidence from the back streets of Bolton which did in fact show him there, but the footage showed both Zamir and Anthony going on to meet up with Judy Chapman and Uthman Satya, something the prosecution say never in a million years did they think that this would be captured on video. And so there is your detailed timeline of events surrounding this case. Of course, it has been a little while since this trial has been ongoing, and of course for the next few weeks this trial will continue. I've only given you guys the timeline of events. There is a lot more that I haven't included in this video, but when this trial has wrapped up, I will put everything in that video, so be sure to check for that one if you want more details surrounding this case. For now though, I'm not going to give comment on this situation because again it is an ongoing trial, so I'm going to leave this one here, but again make sure you guys check out that video if you want more details that will be getting released once this trial has wrapped up. But let me know what you guys think of this down in the comment section below. Give the video a little like, and if you want the latest drill, street and music news out of the UK, be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. It's been your boy Huncho, and I'm out.